TOAST is an acronym for the Ancient Order of Smai Tawi. TOAST is an online information center for the Netaru, angelic beings who are descendants from the divine light of Amsi-Heru. TOAST also welcomes open-minded individuals and truth seekers from all spiritual walks of life. The ancient order of Smai Tawi was established in the 25th dynasty, 747 to 656 BC, by the Kushite pharaoh Neterkashta. Pharaoh Kashta was divinely ordered to rule Kemet and resolve the spiritual and political disarray that had plagued our holy land. Kashta was ordained pharaoh Pa'ah in the holy city of Waset. He was coronated in the temple of Amen-Ra, located in the great complex of Ipet Resite, known today as Karnak. The word Amen-Ra means the hidden light of God. Pharaoh Kashta and his progenies re-established the Nubian line of Netaru as rulers of Kemet. The 25th dynasty was dedicated to removing the yoke of foreign rulership from Kemet and the honorable embellishment of Ipet Resite, our holy temple complex for angelic beings on earth. TOAS's objective is aligned with the mission and will of our primogenitors of the 25th dynasty, who established the organization known as the Ancient Order of Smai Tawi. The Kemetic word for Smai Tawi means to join together or unify, to bring about the union with self and higher self, to unlock generational powers within the self. TOAS's mission is to serve those who are in spiritual disarray and reintroduce them to the sacred order of the angels, the angelic beings. This is achieved by teaching holistic ionic communication and divine union with our primogenic higher powers, those latent powers within one's self, the Ipet Suit. TOAST. Greetings. Greetings. I'm assuming I could be heard. My name is Taharka Ali, your host for TOAST, the Ancient Order of Smai Tawi. And our show today is a continuation of one that was broadcasted last week. The show's title is Preventing the Slaughter. Preventing the slaughter is a term that comes from the Renu Pertum Heru of Amsi-Heru. It's one of our most ancient spiritual texts from Kemet. And that particular piece, Preventing the Slaughter, is also known as Spell 42. It's said that it was created for this particular time in life when things would be at array, problems, all kinds of things to create havoc in the world that we're living in right now. It's my duty as a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather. I call it GGF. It's my duty as a GGF, great-grandfather, to bring knowledge of what time it is and what should be done during that time, in order to raise ourselves beyond the standard situation that people will be finding themselves in the next in the in the coming times. I would say I'm not going to put no date on it. I'm just saying the coming time. Apparently, there is time for many of us to be able to raise our conscious level so that we're prepared to deal with this instead of the basketball game, to deal with the world instead of the boxing, to deal with situation, to deal with self and what one must do with self instead of being distracted by all the things that will be coming at you in the next whatever, until the next until. All right. I'm waiting for my panel. Maybe one of my panel members, which is Photon, will step in at this time. I don't see anyone at this point in particular. So I'll call Photon. Photon, are you on? You and I can perhaps go through some of this. It's good to see you, my brother.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I hear you great. I hear you great. How's everything with you?
Great, great.
I see
Divine.
Sarah is out there with us. Sarah Ganja. Hello, Sarah. Glad you're watching us. This is hopefully you'll be able to get some real good information out of this particular session that we're getting ready to have. I'm actually, as I said, as a great grandfather, a father, and a grandfather, with pride, I've accepted my mission with pride. Also comes a duty, and that duty is to enlighten my children with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I've acquired in my 77 years on this planet. As a senior mind, I've had the opportunity to see and witness a whole lot on this planet. I am now conveying that I've learned. My learning potentials was really, I was blessed because of the fact that I am what is called a zygote. Hello there. Hello there, Ryan. Can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
I certainly do. It's good to have your beautiful face on the screen.
Hi, Grandpa.
That's one of my precious granddaughters that is just shown her face and as a part of our panel. As I was saying, it's my duty to bring the knowledge that I've acquired for my 77 years of being on this planet. Now, I can remember a whole lot of things. My memory is very clear, and that's because I'm what's called a zygote or a monozygote. A monozygote means a twin. When you're born in the womb as a twin, your consciousness, you become very alert. Your consciousness becomes very clear. Your memory becomes very clear. You recognize, you remember all the things. You remember everything. Actually, being a zygote, because a zygote's responsibility, if he's going to survive in the womb with another being, is to learn how to get along with the being in the womb that he's with. And so this is what I had to do with my twin brother. I had to learn how to make a truce. How are we going to live in this little space without killing one another, without destroying each other, without killing the mother, the host? And so our senses became very, very keen in its development. As supreme beings, we were able to communicate with each other through what is known as an auromorphic field. And through that auromorphic field, we were able to contact one another through telepathy. Each one of us, you are known as a zygote, I'm known as a monozygote. Each one of us are born with these talents, with these senses, with this greatness. However, twins remember it because they always have that face in front of them to remind them of what the experience was. All the way to the point of coming out, our communication was always there. Our telepathic communication was always there. And so our memory becomes keen. Most times the zygote, which is the singular person who is born, they can't remember a lot of things. Even though they experience the same things we experience, they don't have anyone to communicate with. Normally, if the parent or the mother is sharp and she's aware and she's conscious, she communicates with the child. And even after birth, they have that connection. However, they don't realize that that connection is a telepathic connection. They don't realize the supremacy of the situation, how supreme they are, and that they've created was supreme. Our meditation today is to ignite that thought, that concept. Before you play it, hold on. Our objective is to go through the mindset that created a great individual that is born in the womb. I keep seeing, yes, that keeps popping up, Photon. Don't put it on as of yet, okay?
That's just the banner because you're talking about the meditation cipher. So I'm just but
slow me. Oh, slow me. Yeah, so this meditation is going to put us in the frame of consciousness that we were in, actually, when we were in the womb. And it'll give us a little bit more clarity. And I'm telling you this as a monozygote, as I told you, because this is what I'm aware of, and I'm commissioned, actually, to tell you this. This is why monozygotes are here, to explain to you what we experienced in the womb. I think that I see Captain Alial is out there. That's Omar. It's good to have you with us. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I ask you a question?
I acknowledge you. Why don't we break down this meditation? Because this meditation has some very heavy knowledge in reference to what I'm talking about. And then after we listen clearly to this meditation, then what we're going to do is we're going to break it down. We're going to get into it. We're not going to assume that you know it, because you're always bombarded with so much information that it just goes in as subliminally. We have to wait for subliminal. We don't have time for subliminal subduction. We've got to go straight to the source of what's going on and what your capabilities are so that you could prevent the slaughter. I think I mentioned to you where prevent the slaughter came from, which I told you. It came from this is a saying coming from the Pert Imheru. These were our prime generators from Kemet that actually wrote spells. They forecast or foreseen the fact that these days that we're actually in right now would come into play. And so therefore, they prepared themselves, or us, because we are them. We prepared ourselves with certain information that would strengthen, empower, and get us ready for whatever happens on this planet or whatever planet you may go to. So, like the word planet means plan, a netted plan, they netted their plan. And their plan is what we are getting ready to listen to. And then after that, we are going to examine what they had to say, what we had to say back then to ourselves. So we're going back to the future. I think we can go into this particular meditation now.
Hold on. Can I say something? Can I briefly say something?
Of course.
Yeah, this meditation that it's about to be played, it was played the last program, and for those that tapped in or saw last show, you was not available, Tahaka, but we still we made it happen. But near the end, we played this meditation, and there was some technical difficulties where you couldn't really hear it. But nevertheless, you told me that you wanted to replay this particular meditation, transfigurational meditation, again for today, and to dissect it, because you just felt that it was a calling from you to really break things down, because I think you said this is the essence of a lot of the material you want to bring forth. So I'm asking that, I'm just bringing that up just to remind you, you labeled this topic and you kind of explained it right now, but can you further go into what made you said it comes from the ancient text. What motivated you to title today's program Preventing the Slaughter?
Because again, as I said, this particular spell, and again, I want to also let you know that it's a spell. It's called Spell 42 from the Renu Pertum Heru. This is the book for the angels. The Renu Pertum Heru was an ancient text, or is an ancient text. It's for the angels. It's for the angels to come into day or come into light. And in order for us to come to light at this point represents, in esoteric language, or in our language, it would mean to come into the light, daylight, so that you could see what's going on, because many of us are in the dark. And we're comfortable in the dark because people go to sleep in the dark. And darkness is all around us at this point, to the point where the only thing that we recognize, or the only thing that we see that shows any light, is the light that comes from that is telling your vision, or the television, telling your vision what to see, how to think, how to be afraid, how to succumb to whatever it is that it is. And how do you do that? You do it by entertaining yourself with basketball, football, baseball,
okay,
rap.
yeah, all of that. Okay, can you respectfully, can you explain why is it you wanted to replay this transfigurational meditation? We played it last week.
Because if
what
I
does this have
ask
to do with preventing the slaughter? How does this, or we'll find out, or you'll explain that after it?
Okay, I'll explain that after. However, I think that the only way that you can prevent the slaughter is by knowing who you are. You see, if you don't know who you are, then at this point, I wish that you would put up the picture of the chickens and the eagle, because at this point, right now, what you have there is 4 chickens and an eagle. Now you have 4 chickens and an eagle, and then the eagle, instead of soaring and learning what it's supposed to be doing, it's learning the ways of the chicken. And I'm only what you did. You visualize your primogenitors or your prime generators, which is really you, your cells, knew that this day was coming. And so you prepared yourself for this. Now, if you understand that, and I would think that you understand exactly what I'm saying because you've been around me long enough to understand exactly what I'm saying. Either you're going to find yourself roaming without being able to fly like an eagle over all of this that you're experiencing right now. And I have quite a bit of you. You see, go back to that last picture, please. Go back to that last. You see that chicken? The chicken has been telling you about yourself. And now you must learn how to talk to yourself. And you did talk to yourself and you prepared yourself through the Renu Purdum Heru. I am only linking in to our primogenitors, and I'm going to tell it to you like your primogenitors would tell it to you. That is what this particular meditation is about. So it's important that you listen to every word of this, because this is your means to prevent the slaughter. Now you say, oh, Taka, what do you mean slaughter? What do you mean slaughter? That's a very powerful word. Yes, everything in this world is powerful. You understand? And what you have to do is raise your power right now. So yes, preventing the slaughter is, you say, well, what are you talking about? An atomic explosion? Man, it don't even have to be like that. Not to say that that's out of the question, because as we see over in Russia right now, there's a whole lot of things that's going on in this world right now that you don't have nothing, and you almost feel helpless. Because if I ask you, what would you, what could you, the only thing you can do is go back to the TV. So right now we're talking about going into ourselves, going into our immortal power, our own power, so that we could raise ourselves to be able to deal with any and all situations. Question?
Okay. Yeah, you said to play this anytime you say, what was the key word again? You want to
And very good. Better late than never. Angelic being.
Okay, right.
I just said it. I didn't hear it. We are the angelic beings.
And Ryan, I sent you that email, the right email for the admin capabilities so that you could help out when things are getting kind of crazy.
Right now, I'm not able to do anything different than what I was before. So maybe when we get off the call, we can
Okay.
fix that.
I want to say one more thing before, because thank you, Sarah. Right. These are strange times, all right. And but it's nothing that we can't deal with. We're really equipped. We're really internally equipped with everything that we need to deal with the strange times. And it's best that you have a clear understanding of your supremacy, so that you can be able to deal with this. I mean, come on, you are a supreme being. What is a supreme being? You're the end product of a supreme creation. 9 months of fertilization, perfection. Now, what happened when you got out? After the 9 months, we can go into, but when we deal with those 9 months in your natural state as a zygote, as I was telling you, which is a cell, you developed into a supreme being, and we're going to explore that. They know that. All your biologists, all the scientists in the world, they know this. They're just not telling you this. I'm here to tell you. so that we can explore our greatness. Are you ready, Photon?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Um, yeah, I'm ready whenever you are. This is an 8-minute transfigurational meditation.
Wait a minute. Let me do something. Let me use my queen, the queen on the board. Queen, can you show yourself for a second? Are you still there? There you are. Listen, I want to go slightly off for a second and utilize something that everyone is familiar with, which is Google. Do you have your phone in front of you?
I do.
Would you please go to what they say? What do they mean? Here's what you look up. Look up, are humans supreme beings? Are humans supreme beings?
Supreme beings? Question. Would you like me to read the first thing that pops up?
Yes.
So this is the website's from Quora. It's kind of like a question ask forum.
Okay.
And someone asked, can a human evolve and become a supreme being or a god, perhaps? And the answer is, if you want to be esoteric, yes, humans will evolve beyond the belief of supreme being gods. Some humans will evolve into a divine function, though, or they will stay in human form. They again will evolve backwards to reach present level. Then it goes into a long explanation as to where that answer comes from.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's enough. That's enough. There's one more. What did they say? Esoteric?
Yes.
The word was esoteric.
Mhm.
Would you please look up that word, esoteric?
No problem.
Esoteric.
Okay, so esoteric means intended or likely to be understood by a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest.
Okay. So it's time for us to get into our esoteric mind. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because everyone is not going to understand this. But those who listen clearly, those who listen, they are of that special group. They will be of that special group. These are the ones that will prevent the slaughter. The information that you'll need begins in this meditation. Now we can go on, Photon.
So is there a particular position? Do you want to keep the visuals, these windows open, or what do you want to do?
You could take us out for a minute. Let's go totally into it.
Okay. All right. So sit back and enjoy. So you're not going to interject for this 8 minutes?
No, sir. I want them to hear every last word.
All right. Cool. All right.
Peace to the angelic beings. I'm here to remind you that the supreme body you wear brings to the marriage of your being an extraordinary sensory system consisting billions of years of complex biological intelligence. It houses the covert competence that sustains life by satisfying the demands of the possessor's life, evolution, regulation, while maintaining homeostasis. What our sensory system brings to the marriage is the possibility of making supreme biological intelligence explicit. By constructing the patterns of neural activation that constitutes neural maps and mental images. The results of this process is explicit knowledge of the body and all that surrounds it. The bottom line, we've been granted the ability to construct ourselves into supernatural beings, conceived as perfect, omnipotent, and omniscient. For it is a fact that we are supreme beings born from nature. The query is, are you really ready to evolve? If so, now is the time. The only obstacle we face is within ourselves. The immaculate versus the immaculate. The mortal versus the immortal. The ignorant versus the knower. With supreme knowledge, we can activate the immortal cell latent in our genes. But activating the immortal cell for application is not a simple task, but essentially achieved with the use of transfigurational meditation, invocation, and the exercise of one's divine prerogative. Remember, divine prerogative is a right or privilege given to you by God through nature. Divine prerogative is expressed in your nature. The supreme body that you wear. Your right to think. Your right to be great. Your right to reproduce your immortal self. Well, who are you? Say. I am a supreme angelic being. And through my acknowledgement, through my divine prerogative, and through my disciplines, comes the acquisition of supreme angelic power. Computers are designed to emulate certain aspects of our supreme body and brain function. Scientists are continuously updating them to maximize efficiency. And so it is also necessary for us to update our spirit, body, and mind function. Our sole objective must be to re-inform the mind's perspective with the evolutionary tools mandatory for transformation and transfiguration. The word perspective means a particular attitude towards or way of regarding something. A point of view such as, how do I perceive myself? How do I see myself? Well, wisdom dictates that we see ourselves as supreme angelic beings and learn to activate the powers in being just that. The first implant that we will use for our transfiguration will be the power word, discipline. The field of discipline is the study that trains, develops, corrects the mind, and guides it to perfection. With the Self-Discipline app, we will exercise our extrasensory perception to neural map our supreme patterns of behavior to assert our higher will power. Let us evolve. Say, I am a great one, light of the great one. I am a flame, spark in the flame. I am a wise one, light of the wise one. I am the light, light of the light, who reestablished rule over eternity after recovering the holy eye. The eye of Heru shall not be taken from me. I am knit together spiritually and morally. The eye of Heru is the all-seeing eye for the master of eternity. I am reborn from new with the eye of Heru. I us meditate on this invocation. Invocation. I am a great one, light of the great one. I am a flame, spark in the flame. I am a wise one, light of the wise one. I am the light, light of the light, who reestablished rule over eternity after recovering the holy eye. The eye of Heru shall not be taken from me. I am knit together spiritually and morally. The eye of Heru is the all-seeing eye for the master of eternity. I am reborn from new with the eye of Heru. I am the master of eternity. Take these words and eat them daily, for this is the holy communication for our new supreme minds.
You have to take yourself off mute.
Thank you for the raw reminder. Yes. So you, at this point, I believe it was heard. Do anybody have any questions about that meditation cipher that they heard?
Yes, I would like to first ask you two questions that it may relate to the specifics of the meditation. The first one is what is your definition? How do you see your immortality? What's immortality to you?
Well, you are a clear representation of immortal by one in a degree. The degree is the definition of immortality is one not it's the spirit and the identity of one crossing incarnations. Now, most of us are products of the spirit crossing incarnations. However, we've lost our identity. Identity is identification. When you lose your identification in the world, there's not too many places you can go without your identity. And we are people that have lost our identity. So yes, you're an immortal being, but your information, your identity of who you are is gone. And so you have not crossed in, as right now, I would say the only reason why you're here is because you've been here. You couldn't be here unless you've been here for millions of years. So immortality is going or traveling. It's almost like something like one would say, what do they call when they talk about the what is that word? It's a word that I'm looking for. The Buddhists use it a lot. Anybody remember that word? What is it called? Reincarnation. The word is reincarnate, meaning taking something, leaving something old, which is like the body, when the body becomes old, and moving your new self into a new body, or moving into avatars. This is what we do, but we're not aware. Well, someone used the word eyes, high eyes, transcendental, more reincarnation is the word, eyes, to reincarnate, to go inside of another vessel, traveling that mind. When the mind identifies with itself, it knows how to travel, and it can consciously move from one being to another. The objective of even creating avatars or children is to actually know how to move your mind, or that one mind, that God mind, into other beings. And so and this is how we travel as immortal beings. Now, here you are dealing, you're confronted with a concept, what is called mortality. You're dealing with a mortal concept, meaning that the word mortal, if you look up the word mortal, you'll see it means fear and death, which is not really what it's really all about. The angelic beings state that we are bio recycling. It's called biorecycling. So when the body, which is part of the earth, this is the earth that we use in order to create this body that we're wearing this body, but our spirit is really, this is called, and they called it the car. That's where the concept of the word car, C-A-R, you get in the car to take you different places. The ancients called it the car. And we get in the car, but the car is not really us. It's only the instrument that we use in order for us to travel with. For example, even a TV set. You look at a TV and you see you see these programs that come on the TV. But if your TV broke down, the picture tube broke down, that don't mean that the programs are gone. No, you get a new TV and you put the programs inside, or the program will present itself inside of the new system, computer, or whatever you have. So it is with the body. But we're so wrapped up with that we don't know about our true biosystem and how to travel, even while we're here on Earth, how to travel through for example, the things that I'm saying right now are words. This is life that is traveling inside of your mind. So I become a part of you. You become a part of me. This is how we travel. This is how we extend ourselves.
Okay. All right. You kind of answered my next question with death and how you saw death relative to mortality. One of my other questions that had to do with the meditation, you mentioned in that meditation, you said something about neural mapping. Can you explain what do you mean by you also mentioned just now biosystems, and I heard you say that word before in this live, as well as some other lives on this channel. Can you explain what do you mean by neural mapping? What's that?
Neural mapping is what we did as supreme beings when we first was brought into the planet. When we were first brought to this planet, we neural mapped. We learned how to walk. That's a form of neural mapping. We learned how to talk. That's a form of mapping, putting a map, mapping the mind to perceive based on the perceptions that you're given. The greater your perceptions, the more you know. For example, what I said, I am a great one, light of the great one. When you say these things, this is why I said, say, I am a great one, light of the great one. I am a wise one. I am a flame light of the flame, who reestablish rule. When you say spelling words, when you neuromap your mind with these spelling words, it starts to take effect. It ignites the spirit that's all the immortal cell that's within inside of you. And all of a sudden you begin to rise to or you take what is called transfigurate. You create a greater rate or speed within your cells, and your cells starts to accelerate, and it becomes more powerful. You create the power of your angelic being, self, your supreme self. Right now, you're vibrating, most of us are vibrating on a lower frequency. And so, therefore, there are spells to raise your frequency. That is one of them. Is that clear?
For now, yeah. Neural mapping.
Yes.
So can you explain? You was mentioning about
of course, you know what neurons are. Neurons is electricity. We collect all of our information. There's so much electricity in the ions, in the neurons. These things are out here. Neurons is in the air. Information is in the air. All of these things come to us. We are filled with neurons. We're filled with ions. We and the earth in itself. So all of this we can acquire information. The word information only means to inform, to create form. We must learn how to reform our mind, our perception of the things that we see and how we see them. Neuro mapping. Any other question?
I was waiting for Ryan to if she had a question. Yeah.
Do you have a question?
I've been trying to simultaneously prepare myself some food because I haven't eaten all day. I'm all good. Some really good questions, Photon. First of all, thanks for asking those questions. I guess my questions relate more to the how-to portion of that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess how do we begin to excuse me, let me back up. The way that I understood the meditation was that we are naturally supposed to be greater beings than what we currently possess. But something happened where we are cut off from our power source, which is, our sensory lineage and our powerhouse, for multiple reasons. And the idea is to make sure that we stay, in a sense, diligent to ourselves physically, metaphysically, mentally, emotionally, so that we can get back to that God state. And we do that through discipline.
Right.
Um,
because the discipline is neural mapping. You're neural mapping your mind. You're creating a map.
For ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
For ourselves. For ourselves.
And when you say that, like, how do we incorporate our physical being into that process? Because I understand, meditation helps as well, but we're consistent of like mind, body, and soul.
Right.
So I guess for the physical aspect of our being, how do we connect that to our like metaphysical? How do we connect our physical to our mental? What does that look like? I guess physically and in the world.
And that's a very good question. Normally, when a person to work out the body is part of the process. It's part of the discipline.
Do you
But
mean
it's
like
only
workout? Like
literally going to work out.
okay.
You see, every time when an angelic being works out, he's working it all out. He's working the body, mind, and spirit out. So, for example, when he does exercise, he does or she does a spell, because these are when the endorphins in the body. This is when all of these things are opening up, and they're looking for development. Everything in the body. Remember, these neurons, these protons, these neutrons. All of these is also part of the body. When the physical body is working out, it's looking for its nutrients as well. So when you neural map, you're feeding all of this now. The endorphins, the body is activated. Its rate when you're working out, the rate of the body, you are literally on a physical level. You're transfigurating. You're changing your figure, if you want to put it like that. But now you have to also place in the supplementation. It's called supplements. The supplements. That's why these spells are also known as supplements. You also heard me use the word invoke or invocation. So you're invoking powers. You're calling on powers internally as well as physically. A real workout, if a person just worked out his body, what is he called? The jock. If a person works out his body, mind, and spirit, he's called an angelic being. So each one of them, you do it all at once. When you're working out, you work out with a spell.
How would you say that this supreme sensory system? I'm familiar with neurons and the organs and how they play a role within the physical body. How would you say that this supreme sensory system works
Well, I have to go back to,
in a nutshell?
right. I have to. It's hard to put anything in a nutshell. We may need a ostrich shell, something bigger than a nut. I'll put this in an ostrich shell. Okay. The way it works, we're talking about and of course you're asking about the sensory system. You see, I have to go all the way back to the very beginning again. We have to go back to our prenatal state as zygotes, as we as cells are developing. As we develop, as the body or the being develops, all of these are parts of that is developing also. The reason why I'm so clear on this is because I said, as a zygote, I recognize and I remember very clearly, this is why I'm here. This is why twins are really here, to let you know certain things. So scientists may study them, but by the time a twin is out into the world, he lost all of his senses. But let me finish, please, because this is extreme. You asked a very important question, and I must answer this. We can remember using powerful tools inside of the womb in order to communicate. Telepathy. Our telepathy we didn't lose you lost your telepathy when you were born. I lost my telepathy, my ability to have telepathic communication with my twin brother when I was 5 years old. So I had 4 years and being in the womb of understanding the concept of telepathic communication with my twin brother. You can speak to any twin and he will tell you the exact same thing. So telepathy is part of something that you automatically have. Your ability to communicate. That was our first language, telepathy. The other thing, the ability to be able to travel through dreams. Twins can do that. So we know, so these are realities that I can attest in my 77 years of being on this planet that exist. And so I know what killed it. It was killed by coming into this particular world that had no knowledge of this, or if they did, they wasn't going to share that type of knowledge. And I became a victim of it also. A twin who actually knows how to use telepathy became victimized as well. So I could imagine what you experienced. So when we're talking about extrasensory perception, we must now learn how to perceive ourselves as supreme beings and utilize the tools that we have, those tools that we have, in order to elevate ourselves so that we are not victimized anymore.
Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Because I want to dissect this.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you, how does the supreme sensory system work?
Mm-hmm.
How does it work? Let me be more specific then.
Please.
Let me be more specific.
Mm-hmm.
How does the quantum world hold up within this supreme realm or supreme matrix you're speaking of?
Yes.
You're speaking about these supreme senses or extra senses that you call them, telepathy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm trying to. I
all
want
of
to know
these, yes.
the schematic.
Very good question. Very good question.
What is my question?
You said, how does the quantum world affect, or what is the effect that the quantum world have in this whole scenario, into the development of the supreme sensory system? Am I correct?
In a sense, what role? Because what you're kind of it sounds like you're saying is this supreme sensory world mimics the physical manifestations that are occurring in the womb, outside the womb. You're talking about cells. We're all cells. We're all supreme. What I'm saying is, specifically, when it comes to mapping this supreme interface,
Mm-hmm.
how does it work? Does it work within the same paradigms that our physical body, our physical senses, not the extra senses, are they on some type of mechanical order? And what is the means towards which we tap into it outside of go to bed and exercise, or is that it?
Okay.
And
Now,
all right,
one of in our lesson, in our last lesson, we spoke about divine prerogative. Do you recall that term, divine prerogative? When you are aware, see, most people operate on what is called, and you were taught the app. You have the app, what is called the thinking app. You think. There's the thinking app, and then there's the knowing app. It's time for us to move our application to a whole nother level. By knowing and utilizing your divine prerogative, you ignite all of these things. So by, of course, taking care of yourselves, by understanding, by being able to relate to yourselves, your inner self, we're taught to relate outside of ourselves. Everything that you do is outside of yourselves. You're not aware of anything within your cells, your brain cells, your body cells, your spirit cells, if you will. You understand? And so now what you're doing through neural mapping, these spells, you're moving into your cells. You're now neural mapping so that you can go and converse with yourselves. This is how you activate yourselves through neural mapping certain spells. That is purely osmosis. It's simply osmosis. There's 3 states of matter that we're dealing with. The 3 states of matter is liquid, solid, and gas. When we start talking about the quantum realm, we talk about ions. We're talking about words. Words are move through what is called those particular, the spiritual realm. It moves to the quantum realm. Words move through the physical realm to the quantum realm into the spiritual realm. However, if you don't know this, if you aren't aware of this, then you can't empower yourself in those worlds. You're a lost power. But to be aware, to be conscious, to be aware of what you're doing and how you're doing and what you are prescribed to do. If you have a problem and you have a problem with your arm and I give you medicine for your leg, that's not going to help you. So you need specific words to activate specific things within yourselves.
I wrote a comment saying, I would assume the neural mapping would begin in the amino sac when you're in the mother's womb.
Very, very good. It does. That's what I was saying, Eyes. It actually starts. They tell you that it's only when the fetus comes out and whatnot, but no, this is prenatal development. Absolutely.
And kind of what I was speaking about is there like an esoteric cloud that one taps into that is just not on this plane? Is there a particular
yes,
avatar, just in let's call it that, in your studies that you go to, or is everything right here and it's just about, like, is there a location?
Yes, there's a location outside and there's a location inside. The connection between the outside and the inside is your primogenitors, your generators, the generator. This is the link, this is the cord, this is the plug that you plug into. This is, many people call it the higher power, your higher power. I have 3 higher powers that I deal with. One of them is my twin brother, who has ascended. And then I deal with my namesake, Taharka, which is another one of my higher powers. And then I have a silent higher power that I deal with. So I'm in communication with my higher powers. I literally hire them to work for me, and they work for me.
But I don't know what she's talking about, this amino sac. That's sounding very sacky. The sac.
Well,
I know.
The amino sac is.
Go ahead.
It's biological. No, it's nothing weird. It's just a part of the human anatomy when she gets pregnant.
Well, see,
I'm just wondering what's up with her, why she got all this sack. She's typing, she's sack everywhere. But I'm sorry, no, there's nothing to do with y'all talking about. I'm just.
Oh, you're just kidding.
No, I didn't say that. Oh, I wasn't kidding anything. I was just reviewing her words and her choice of words. But continue. She just
are you familiar with the amino sac, Photon?
I'm familiar with all sacks. Are you?
No.
You're
No, I'm
not
not.
familiar
I'm
with
not
all
familiar with
sacks?
all sacks because they got some sad sacks out there too.
I'm familiar with
And I'm
those
not
too.
familiar with. I don't familiarize myself with sad sacks.
Okay.
Okay, so let us move on. Are there any other questions?
I have another question. During the meditation, you mentioned divine prerogative, right? Which
Yes.
seems like to be the ability to, have your will like sought out. Put your mind to something and it comes into fruition.
Divine prerogative. Right.
Um, what is, I guess, your stance on divine prerogative as opposed to
Or divine providence versus
okay,
divine. Is that what
no,
you're saying?
no, divine prerogative versus like I guess fate, you know?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Um, exactly. Like purpose and like things that are supposed to happen as opposed, I guess, viewed alongside like um everything that happens is for a reason. I guess that is it fate?
Coincidental.
Is it
Coincidence.
right? Is fate? Are things predestined for us to happen, or are we
Uh,
writing the story as we go along? I guess.
that's according to who the we are.
Mm.
You understand? Of course, a person who is unaware uh, are dealing with the mystery, dealing with a mystery. The more aware you are, the more you create. It becomes your prerogative of how you move. For example, one can live to be 120 and or 130 if this becomes their neural map. If they learn how to, if they want to, and they learn how to take care of their full self, full self, holistically. You understand?
Mhm.
But the more aware you are, the more you're deep, the more aware you are of your divine prerogative, your ability to be able to say, this is what will be. And then you move yourself and you program yourself into your will, then this is what will be. There is a as we said, we are in the planet. There is a plan. There is a netted plan. The key is to know your plan. What is the plan for you? Who are you? What are you here for? Why are you here? These are simple questions that very few people can answer. They have no mission. They don't know their mission. They can't, nor can they state their mission. When you can't state your mission, you can't have a divine prerogative.
Would you say that like a divine prerogative is like a gift given to those who are, I guess, metaphysically and physically ready to handle that, part of ascension?
Yes,
Is it
because without a doubt, because they absolutely know what their purpose is. And so they're dealing with that prerogative. They're saying it's not like you could just say, "Oh, snap my hands," and all of a sudden, money, good homes, and friendships is going to fall on my fall in my lap. No, you have to understand your purpose. Once these things, for example, money, and I'm not ruling out money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life as your prerogative to have. However, you have to have your platform set. Who are you? Why? Why am I getting this? What am I doing with this? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my reason? What am I being? And what am I being? Am I being angelic? Am I being a fool? Am I being tricked? If you don't know what you're being, you can't be given powers. Are you do you feel me? There are certain powers that you will never receive if you don't. What do you think? It's not a joke out here. You understand? It's very serious, very serious. And you're not given anything that you can't handle. You can, if you can't handle success, you won't be given success. And if you get it, if you get that success, it'll be taken from you very quick, or your body will be taken away from you if you're not aware.
Makes sense. Okay, just
Um,
a lot of sense.
Eyes is saying the question is what happens to our body? What happens to our body when we transition from living in water to breathing air? It's an immediate transformation.
Are you talking about in the womb, Eyes? Are you talking about transforming from the womb into the air? Is that the water that you're talking about?
She's saying you're living inside a bubble in the wound.
In the womb of the world,
She
yes.
keeps writing wound. I don't know if she means wound.
Womb.
She's saying
That's
sacs.
womb, Eyes. Yeah, that's what I think you're talking about. Am I correct? The womb. In the
Maybe she
womb of
means
life.
wound.
I think that's what she's talking
You're
about.
living
Yes.
inside a bubble in the womb.
But Eyes, what you have to understand is you're still in an ocean. You're still in water. It's all. Yes. I got you, Eyes. Yeah. However, I don't know if we should, because it's very important for us to concentrate on, because we're here for a purpose. We have a purpose. And what we have to do is right now realize that our purpose is to transfigurate. To transfigurate. How do we transfigurate? Because see, there are so many areas where we can go. There's so many things that we can talk about. But the most important thing is, how do we create our higher rate? How do we change our rate of consciousness? How do we accelerate, transfigurate into a glorious being? That's where we came from when we came out of that womb, inside of the womb mind or the woman, and coming into this new womb that we're in. You're absolutely right, by the way, Eyes, because I can remember even as creating our auromorphic field as children, my brother and I. When we created our auromorphic field, we came out of one womb into another womb, and we created a matrix womb for ourselves, so that we would always be able to travel through. So everything is a womb, and we're always going from womb to womb, or room to room, if you want to say, But yes, so I think I understand what you're saying. But right now, we won't be able to go to no womb if we don't change or accelerate or change our rate of consciousness. And that is for body, mind, and spirit. Photon, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
I miss your questions. Let me see if I have one.
I have a question, Grandpa.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
If you were to give a prescription to someone on how to achieve this state of godliness and supreme being, what would you prescribe? Like, what does it look like in the physical? Your the day to day, the positive self reflection, like, and of course, I know everyone's journey is a bit different, but if you had to just lay it out, okay, I would recommend you do this to help.
I would. Very good. I I would start with spell words, words through osmosis by understanding the power of words, power words, words that we rarely use. By removing some of those old spell words that we are so tied to. I can give you a few of them: nigger, fool, dummy, stupid. All of these words we know very well. In order to start change, to activate change, use words like great, powerful, mighty, omnipotent, omniscient. Use power words. Neural map these type of words. Get away from these words, these low frequency words that actually pulls you on a lower frequency. Utilize daily. Put power words inside of your vocabulary, inside of your neural map these words. Find how to use it. Serve these words. Serve power words. In order to serve a power word, you must have it. It's bilateral. It empowers you. If you serve great to everyone around you, then that means you have greatness with you. So you empower yourself with greatness. Empower yourself with power. Empower yourself with love. Empower yourself with these words. There's in the being of God, there are one, especially or goddess, there are at least 127 attributes. Attribute those attributes to yourself. Take them, eat them, let them be a part of your neural mapping. Neural map that into your being so that you have that power to serve it. And when you serve it, it serves you because you become the vessel for these powers. This is how you acquire power. Does that make sense to you? So you say, what is the prescription? How do I say now, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to the old way of the way the Christians and I'm not knocking them I don't knock any religion. You understand? I don't knock anybody's philosophy. I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm here for. But when I see a philosophy used, I can relate to certain things. For example, they use the term prayer. A prayer. And that means a lot. A prayer is a supplication. This is our means of going through the physical world into the quantum world and into the spiritual world. This is through osmosis, through prayers. Now, to know what prayer you're using and to use power prayers, activate. It goes through each one of these realms and then activate what you're looking to activate. See, it's like there's no sense in just going in a place. It's like sticking your hand in the electricity thing. You know, you've got to understand what you're looking for, and you've got to know who you want to use in order to get these things when you're traveling into worlds. That's why you need to understand and how to use a higher power. So this higher power actually helps you to activate and goes through these worlds, into these quantum worlds, and goes into these realms and assists you in the things that you're looking for. Do you understand that? What about you, Photon?
What about me?
Remember you had asked me about the quantum, the relationships between the worlds, the relationship between the spiritual, the quantum, and the physical world. It's all right here. The physical world, the quantum world, and the spiritual world. It's all right here. Is how do you activate, how do you get to it, and how do you get, and knowing what the concept is, the concept of knowing, not thinking, hoping, or praying for, but knowing exactly what you want, who you're using in order to get it. It's like a business, if you will. If you want to look at it in that way, it's like a business. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. You're not getting into that door unless you know. If you don't know, you're not getting into that door because you don't know who to use in order to get into those realms. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So you learn, this is what you're learning now. You're learning what you need in order for you to transfigurate, the rate in order for you to vibrate on, in order for you to be able to make those moves. Who you need, who assists you, what type of body do I need to activate myself as in order for me to be able to attract or distract? We want to attract. We want to be on the A track, the higher frequency. By the way, that reminds me. Okay, I'm there. So, are there any questions? I ask because it seems like we slow down once when we are born, 7 in 10 months, then it's so much growth. Oh, Eyes, you're amazing. That's an amazing question, because Eyes, and I think that I'm going to try and address that. I'm going to address that. Yes, everything we when we come out of our womb as now child or a fetus, when we come out, we're perfect. This is what I'm saying. We come out as perfect beings. We come out as supreme beings. That's what we are when we come out. However, those that greet us when we come out are what's the word? Contaminated. That's from our parents. They're mortals, and they think on a mortal level. They're contaminated with the mortal app, and they implant mortality in us. They implant all of these things just from the very beginning. When the doctor hits you on your hind part, he's creating fear. So all sorts of implants are put inside of you that bring you that puts your immortality in a dormant state of being. So, and then you're told that you're a human being. You're not told that you are an angelic being. You're told that you're human, and you're told that you're mortal, and you're told that you're going to die, and you're given so much fear and place so much fear in your life that they even tell you around about when you're going to die, and everything around you turn on that television, and if you can't find something silly and stupid, you're going to find something to scare you. So you find yourself going to the silly, stupid things, and you don't find anyone telling you about your supremacy, about your greatness, your divinity, the divinity of nature, and the divinity of the world. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was a child, when my brother and I were very young, they told us that we couldn't have been, must have been about 3 years old. And the doctor said to my mother, and I remember this very clearly, he said, we've got to take out their tonsils and their adenoids. And and my mother agreed with them because they were the quote unquote doctors. And they gave us an operation, and the operation was to take out the tonsils and adenoids. Now, which are what are these? These are the tonsils. Is what are these? These are cells, but they like inside of the throat. Okay. But if you check it out now, you'll see that these the adenoids and the tonsils protects the body from viruses. So a lot of people catch viruses. Fortunately, I'm blessed, but a lot of people catch viruses, colds, and all of this because they literally took out the adenoids and took out the tonsils of so many people. If you study right now, you'll see that what I'm saying is a fact. This is a fact. So we have to learn how to take care of ourselves. We have to realize the power that exists, because all you represent at this point, you don't represent a supreme being. You represent an experiment. And they will use you as an experiment, or you will learn how to experiment on your greatness. And this is where we're at now, learning how to experiment on your greatness.
Okay, Tahaka, we're moving into the 90-minute mark. I'm about to bounce here. It was good talking with you. I don't know if she has the abilities to close things out, but that's pretty much, you answered all the questions I got.
I'm sorry?
You answered beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess we don't have anything else. There's nothing else for me to say. I enjoyed talking with both of you, and I enjoyed talking to you, Sarah, Eyes, and I think it was Al, Captain Al. Yes, and Captain Al, and whoever else is out there. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Like that? It's wrap?
I'm sorry? Yeah, it's just a wrap.
It's a wrap. All right. Salute. I'll see you. I'll talk to you on the phone. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Oh, I wish you could have went out. I would have loved for you to get up, because I'm sure a lot of the people would want to know about my book. And perhaps you should have, maybe we can just close out on a commercial on Sacred Formulas.
Oh, boom. Okay.
Hold on, Sarah and Eyes. This is a book, whenever you get a chance. This is one that I wrote for my children and my grandchildren. And anytime, and like, I think it was Jesus that said, lymph node. There you go, the lymph node. Right. Thank you. Check that out. You'll see now that was created in our system, in our supreme system, to keep us from getting viruses. Spider. Whoa. Wow. You gotta come back next week. I'd love to see you. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Give me a call when you get a chance.
Are you ready, Uncle L?
Yes. Sacred Formulas to Raise the Royal Mind is a spiritual textbook written by Tunde Ra and Taharka Ali. This book contains power lessons retrieved from the forgotten African Kemetic spiritual culture for the enlightenment and the evolution of today's modern family of man. Many of these formulas were written thousands of years ago with the specific purpose of retuning the spirit of today's mind back to its original greatness. Sacred Formulas will empower and teach the reader how to transform and transfigurate into a shining one who illuminates the world with greatness. Sacred Formulas will teach the reader the science of invoking positive primogenic forces to be used for his or her spiritual revivification and divine evolution. This book will also instruct the reader on how to connect with and hire his or her higher powers in order to lead them on a path of greatness, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. Sacred Formulas to Raise the Royal Mind. Buy your book now. Sacred Formulas.